agenda.
It is exactly 18 after 9 o'clock. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the second hour of News and Views with me, Julie Ali, right here on Salam Media. A big welcome also to our Palakwani listeners on One Nation FM. Next, we're going to be talking with Allie Komape from Africa for Palestine, and we are talking about the Nakba Day 75 march to the South African Parliament in Cape Town. Ali Komape from Africa for Palestine. Salaam alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Alaikum salam, and thank you for having me.
All right, a big day today, and it is been called Nakba Day 75. Tell us about this day and why has it been entitled Nakba Day 75? Does that mean that the Palestinians have been under illegal occupation for the past 75 years?
Yes, so the Nakba Day commemorates the violent, criminal, bloody expulsion and killing of Palestinians in 1948 by Jewish invaders mostly from East Europe that were escaping persecution from Germans and high-rising anti-Semitism in Europe. They came to Palestine, the historic land of Palestine, inhabited by indigenous Arabs. They came in, they expelled Palestinians to claim the land as theirs. Today, we commemorate 75 years since that period in 1948, where there was systematic ethnic cleansing and expulsion of Palestinians from their indigenous land by Jewish militias and Jewish settlers.
Okay, so what has Africa for Palestine organized for this day to make people aware of the significance of Nakba Day 75?
Basically, there are a number of actions across the country, and silent media, of course, is part of those particular actions. But Africa for Palestine has joined with other organizations to organize a march, a protest in Cape Town to the South African Parliament. We think this is important to march to the Parliament of South Africa because this is the center of where laws are made in this country. So we will be marching on the 15th of May. We'll be marching together with different organizations like the African National Congress, South African Communist Party, COSATU, in Muslim organizations in Cape Town and in Johannesburg as well. Of course, the Embassy of Palestine is part of those organizations. So we'll be marching in Cape Town to the South African Parliament to commemorate this day, but also to show the South African Parliament the center of where laws are made, that we as South Africans from different walks of life, from different organizations, we're asking the South African Parliament and South African leaders to take actions and to put them into law in South Africa against apartheid Israel. For example, one of our demands, and we've been making this demand for the past couple of years, is for the expulsion of the Israeli embassy to Africa. So we want this to be a message to Israel, but to the world as well, that we must not have normal relations with an abnormal apartheid regime. So one of our demands is for the expulsion of the Israeli embassy to South Africa as a show of solidarity to Palestinians, but of course also as a message to the world that we cannot continue having normal relations with an abnormal apartheid regime.
Okay, this is happening next Monday, the 15th of May. Tell us the time of gathering, the gathering point, and then what happens next.
So for to our supporters in Cape Town, of course, across the country, we are convening on the 15th of May at Hanover Street in Cape Town at 10 o'clock in the morning. So from there, from Hanover Street in Cape Town, we'll converge there and then proceed in a procession, in a march, in a protest, in a demonstration to the South African Parliament in the CBD. So that's where we are meeting 10 o'clock in Hanover Street in Cape Town, proceeding to the South African Parliament in the CBD.
Are you handing over a memorandum or some such list of demands, or will you just be conversing with whomever is going to be meeting? Whom are you hoping to meet at the Parliament buildings?
Of course, like we've been handing over a memorandum of demands, and like I said, one of the demands we are making to
Mm,
the South African Parliament is that they must pass laws. One of the laws we are asking the South African Parliament to take is for the severing of ties, diplomatic ties to the apartheid regime of Israel, which will translate, of course, into the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador to South Africa. Of course, other demands include um, uh, the, the passing into law for South Africa to boycott products from Israel, to divest from all companies that are involved with apartheid Israel, and to sanction Israel through economic, political, cultural, academic ways, to sanction Israel for their crimes in Palestine. So those are some of the demands we are making. And of course, these are not new demands. These are all demands that we've been making to the South African Parliament. And of course, if you remember very well, and our listeners will remember, in 2014, one of the biggest protests in South Africa post apartheid, one of the biggest marches in democracy that was attended by the likes of Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
mm.
These are the demands that we made in 2014 in that march to Parliament in Cape Town. So these are some of the demands that we've been making over the years, and we are hoping for the South African Parliament to realize that it's high time they stop paying lip service to the Palestinian struggle and to put it into action. So those are some of the demands that we make in the South African Parliament, and they are not new. We've been making this before. Of course, we are hoping that the Secretary of South African Parliament to receive the memorandum, but we are hoping also, and we are confident that the chief whip of the majority party, that is the majority party, the ruling party, the governing party, which is the African National Congress, they will also they will also accept receive the memorandum on behalf of the South African Parliament. And of course, we have other members of Parliament that will not only receive this memorandum, but also would participate in this particular protest. So historically, we would have people like the Nelson Mandela's grandson, Chief Nkosi Mandela, who will be part of the protest. Sheikh Imam of the National Freedom Party will be part of the marches. So we have a number of members of Parliament that will not only be part of this particular protest, but will be part of the delegation to receive the memorandum as parliamentarians of this country.
Ali, isn't it sadly ironical that you and I are talking about Nakba 75? It's going to be a peaceful march on next Monday, the 15th of May. But as you and I speak, the Israelis have once again been bombing innocent men, women, and children in Palestine. And I think at the last count, we had heard that already 11 people have been killed. Um, it it is time for the international community to wake up, is it not? Because the Western world are wanting Vladimir Putin to be held accountable for crimes against humanity. We don't hear anything against the illegal occupiers, the Israeli occupiers, and the mass killing and the irresponsible killing and the atrocious conditions that the Palestinian people are living under the rule of these illegal occupiers, and the fact that the Palestinians have been displaced, and so very many of them are not even allowed to come back into their own countries.
Thank you for raising that point. Just to put matters into perspective here, on Monday, Israeli apartheid forces and its terrorist organization called the IDF bombed Gaza in a series of targeted and indiscriminate bombings.
Mm.
This was the update now. The total in Gaza has shown that 15 have died from those targeted bombings of Israel, including 4 children. This, of course, includes Dr. Jamal Kaswan, the director of Al Wafa Hospital, who was killed together with his wife and son, sleeping in their home. So these are some of the examples of the brutality, the evil of the apartheid regime of Israel. One of the representatives of Israel's organizations in the government said that it doesn't matter how many children are civilians for when one Palestinian terrorist is killed. So this is the mentality of the Israeli regime. This is the mentality of the evil of the representatives of Israel. They do not care how many Palestinians are killed. They do not care how many Palestinian children, civil servants are killed. This is, of course, part of their campaign to ethnically cleanse Palestine. So this is not new, by the way. Over 40 people have been killed in the year 2022, and we're not talking about people who were killed by probably by accident, or they were killed. There was some kind of collateral damage. No, these were targeted killings. Over 40 Palestinians were killed in targeted bombings, and majority of them shot and killed. In the back, they were shot and killed from the back. Others, including the elderly and children. So this is the character of the state of Israel. And of course, you're right. The international community has to stand up to Israel and hold it accountable for its crimes in Palestine. And of course, we see the disgusting double standards from the West when it comes to Ukraine and when it comes to Palestine. Of course, this was raised by our foreign minister, Dr. Naledi Pandor. She has said that international law is very important only when it's convenient to the West. International law must be applied in terms of the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, the United Nations Security Council, only when it comes to Ukraine only. But when it comes to Palestine, there seems to be a selective amnesia. They forget international law. They forget to apply international law in terms of the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, the United Nations Security Council. So the West is hypocritical. The West has double standards, and this has been exposed by the recent invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So we are confident that the West and these superpowers like the United States, France, and the United Kingdom, Britain, they get exposed to their interest in terms of human rights. We've seen that these are some of the last friends of apartheid. If you remember very well, governments of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan of the United States, those were some of the last friends of apartheid South Africa. So it's not surprising to us South Africans who have experienced and enjoyed apartheid to see Western countries side with Israel, but sing a different tune when it comes to Ukraine.
Ali, and just in closing, then I'll also end on another very sickening note, and that is that these Zionists do believe that they are a superior race. I guess just by the statement that they put out, they have been putting out for the past couple of days, that no one is going to be held, no Israeli soldier will be held accountable for the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh, the American Palestinian journalist that was killed almost a year ago in Palestine. And they have just absolved themselves of all responsibility in that matter. That is truly sickening, is it not?
Oh, definitely. So Israel has in the past believed to operate in Palestine through human rights violation with impunity. The death of Shireen Abu Akleh, a Palestinian American national who was an Al Jazeera reporter, it's a significant turning point in the politics of Israel vis-a-vis the United States. We know very well that the United States is the biggest supporter of Israel in terms of military aid. It gives Israel billions of dollars every year in military aid to sustain the occupation of Palestine by Israel. So a recent polls have shown that American Jews, young American Jews, are starting to see Israel for what it is. They are starting to say Israel does not represent me. Israel does not represent my values as a Jew. Israel in its practices does not represent Judaism. So the actions of Israel, for example, in the killing of people out there, has a terrible effect on the Palestinian psyche, of course. One Palestinian killed is just one too many, but it has a different effect into the international community, because the international community, just like the young Jews in America, are starting to realize we simply cannot continue tolerating such a barbaric genocidal apartheid state. So in the memory of Sharon Abbas, it's been a year now since she's been killed. We commemorated the anniversary of her death a couple of days back. In her memory, we must campaign, and I think this campaign is bearing fruit, just like with organizations like the Jewish Voices for Peace in America. We are seeing young people in worldwide and globally in Israel for what it is and campaigning for the collapse of apartheid Israel. So in a memory and in a death, may his soul rest in peace, there is some positives out of it.
Absolutely. And lest we forget, her memory will live on. We'll keep it alive. I'm also pleased to let you know that you spoke about young Jewish people all around the world, not only in America, are saying things like, not in my name. There are a whole host of organizations that young Jewish people and even older Jewish people who, talk out against the apartheid Israel, and they say it quite vociferously, not in my name, because it's not, we can't label all of Jewish people. It's not the general Jewish public that we're talking about. We're talking about the Zionist philosophy, obviously playing out in Israel. On that note, then, I'm also very pleased to let you know, Allie Komape, but I'm sure you are aware of this, that we, Salam Media, Alhamdulillah, will be covering the event next week, Monday, together with you, Nakba Day 75. And also our esteemed guest Abir Zayad from Palestine, the activist and the archaeologist, will be with us together, marching with you and everybody else that is going to be marching peacefully on Monday, the 25th Monday, the 15th of May, 2023. Starting point is in Hanover Street, Cape Town at 10 o'clock exactly. What do you think about that?
I'm looking to the board of directors and the owner of Salam Media, and to the staff, producers, and presenters. We are very grateful for your activism over the years, and I think your listeners are aware that Salam Media is not only a media platform, but a humanitarian activist platform for social justice causes over the years. So we are very grateful for Salam Media over the years. Different staff, different representatives of the years have come to and passed, but the commitment to social justice has been the same on Salam Media. So we appreciate your commitment to the Palestinian cause and to other causes as well. We know very well that you are involved in other international causes like the Yemeni cause and the Western Sahara cause. So we are grateful to your activism and to your commitment to share struggles of other people besides yourself.
As we are appreciative of what Africa for Palestine has been doing. So God bless, keep safe, and we'll be marching with you in our numbers come next week, Monday, the 15th of May, Nakba Day 75, inshallah. You go well, and salamu alaikum to you.
Salam, and thanks for having us.
It is exactly 9:37 News and Views right here on Salam Media. We are hoping to hook up with Lulu White, elections expert and CEO of the Elections Consulting Agency of Africa. We want to talk to her about the elections becoming more expensive and independence, their role in the upcoming elections, inshallah.